Congratulations on being accepted to the London Internship program.
You're about to have the best semester of your life.
I'm Mallory, I'm a journalism major, and I wanted to study abroad in London to get experience working in a big city at an ad agency.
Hi, I'm MJ. I'm also a journalism major, and my emphasis is in Stratcom. And I've always wanted to go to London, so this is a great experience for me to get some international experience abroad before working in the US. One of the big ways the London internship program helped me was when I came back to the US and I was applying for internships here. All the places that I applied for were really interested in how I had international experience and how I had experience working in different cultures, and they thought it was something that really helped the quality of my work when I came and was applying for jobs.
I was glad I did the London internship program specifically because it gave me a chance to try out some of my skills and to actually try working in a professional agency and see what that would be like.
Some of the courses that you're going to take while you're abroad are British Life and Culture and the International Issues Reporting, both of which are really fun classes. And the British Life and Culture class is going to give you some experience traveling around the city. You're going to take field trips and see the different kind of areas of London and what the city has to offer.
And for international issues, you'll actually get to visit newsrooms like The Guardian and the BBC, and you'll have really professional speakers come and talk to your class and talk about their experiences working and living in London.
When you start packing to come to London, my first suggestion would be to go light. It's really easy to try and fill your suitcase all the way to the brim, but you have to remember that you can buy things while you're abroad, and if you forget anything, it's not going to be a major deal. But there are some things that you might want to remember.
Specifically, you're going to want to bring mostly neutral clothing that you can mix and match really easily. And a good tip for brightening up an outfit is bringing scarves because they'll also keep you warm, but they'll look nice. For footwear, it's really important to have waterproof but comfortable footwear in London because it does rain frequently throughout the day, and you always want to be prepared for that. So make sure you have a pair of really cute, fashionable, but waterproof and comfortable shoes to wear.
And for boys, it might help if you bring sweaters and at least a few nice shirts and ties just to kind of dress up your outfit for your internship, because you never know exactly if you're going to have a nice event to go to or even a date or something fun in the city. And for shoes for boys, I would also try and bring at least one pair of nicer looking shoes that you could pair with jeans or just to dress it up and make it look a little nicer.
One of the tips I have for dealing with homesickness or stress is to take a walk around the city. There's lots of really beautiful parks, and sometimes it can get kind of depressing to just be surrounded by so many city buildings all the time. And if it makes you feel more at home to be around, nature, that can sometimes be a good way to de-stress.
It also helps if you have set times to contact your family or your friends or set up Skype calls and different things like that, just because sometimes it can get a little bit sad when you keep missing your family because you're in two completely different time zones. So sometimes it helped me when I had set times and I knew I was going to be talking to my mom on Mondays or Wednesdays or different days like that. So for some general tips when you're traveling around the city, I would recommend not having large amounts of cash on you at all times. I would have a few credit cards that you and your parents kind of set up before you go, and maybe what I would do is I would keep one emergency credit card in my bedroom at all times, so if anything would ever happen and a card would get canceled or lost or stolen, I would have a backup just in case. But otherwise, I mainly tried to use my credit or debit card that I had in my wallet for most of my purchases, just because there are pickpockets and different things like that, so you do want to make sure you don't have 200 pounds in your wallet at any given time or something like that. Mm-hmm. The only other thing I would say is, as far as your phone goes, don't just be leaving your phone around or have it sitting out with your purse open on the tube or anything like that, just because it is a big city, and just like any place in the U.S., you just want to be very self-aware of where your things are at any given point.
For your phone while you're over there, you're going to get a temporary phone that you use for emergencies, so you'll have a UK number. But you can also keep your regular phone on you. And most people, you can either get a data plan, but if you don't want to, you can log into Wi-Fi at a lot of restaurants and different places around London, and that's free.
Absolutely. And then one final thing, as far as food goes in London, it doesn't, because of the differences in preservatives, it doesn't really last quite as long as American food. So you'll probably be wanting to buy less food at one time when you go to the grocery store and probably just end up going once a week or setting some date or something like that. But the nice thing is, if you're in the Camden location, there's a grocery store right across the street from you. So that's really convenient.
And there's lots of markets with really fresh food that you can try, and they have great vegetables usually.
One last thing about money is that the British currency is a little bit different than what we have here in the U.S. So as far as real change goes, pences are the equivalent to cents to us, and then the £1 and £2 coins are like $1 and $2 bills, and then once you're up to £5, you're at like the equivalent to like dollar paper bills. So just remember that just because you have a pocket full of change, really it could be like $1, $2, $3, $4. It could be quite a lot of money. So don't just like leave that type of stuff lying around.
So the first day you get in the city, you're going to receive an Oyster card, and that is going to allow you to use the public transportation. And you're going to get a student rate, so it's a lot cheaper for students than it is for regular people. But you have to make sure to top up your card every month, and you have to go to the station and have them put money on your card so you can use it for the next month.
And make sure you do not lose that card, because when you do, you have to pay money to replace it, and it's such a pain. So, and especially since the stations usually aren't open on the weekends, and you can only do that like Monday through Friday.
So your card is going to work for zones 1 and 2, and if you decide to travel outside the city limits and go to zones 3 or 4, you'll have to pay extra money on top of what your monthly charge is. So just be aware to tap your card in and out so that you get charged the right amount of money.
There are a lot of different fun things to do in London, especially because there's so many different areas. One of the really fun places that we like to go is Camden, and that has a great music scene. There are all these different concerts going on there at all times. There are really fun pubs that you can go to after work just to get like a casual drink. And there's also a market there, the Camden Market, and it's one of the best food markets in all of London. I might be biased, but we had a great time going there to like grab a snack or like a meal on the weekends, and it's open every single day.
And you should be sure to go to all the museums that you can while you're in London, because most of them are free to the public, and they're some of the world's best museums. And even if you can just go for a little bit and check out one exhibit before class or work or something, it's totally worth it.
And just because you're living in London all the time, don't forget to like get out and explore the city, because there are so many cool things to do there.
Some fun day trips from London are going to take the train to see Oxford or Cambridge. There's so much history you can see there and tour the campuses. And also the towns that they're in are really interesting, and they have lots of cool places to visit. You can also take the train south to Brighton, which is where you can see the sea, and also visit the pier, and there's lots of little touristy shops and things that you can visit.
Most Americans aren't really crazy about the British food that they try when they come over. The pub food, such as fish and chips and the meat pies, aren't really that up to American standards in some ways. But the international food in London is actually great. You should definitely try going to Brick Lane, where they have a lot of Indian foods, and chicken tikka masala is actually considered the national meal in London right now, so definitely worth a try. And you can go to the different markets to try foods from all around the world. Hopefully when you're abroad you won't get sick, but if you do, the student health care is actually really convenient, so you should make sure that you keep a copy of your card on you, like in your wallet or just, at home in your flat. But if you do get sick, like I did, unfortunately, you can go online and you can check and see there's a list of doctors that the healthcare that's compatible with your healthcare provider, and you can make an appointment by calling on your British temporary phone to make an appointment, and you usually get it immediately. And the British doctors are actually really, really helpful, and all the medicine and the prescriptions you need will be covered by your healthcare provider. And basically all you have to do is you'll get a receipt at the end, and you can get like a refund on some of the things that you paid for when you come back to the US.
At your internship, it's recommended that you dress smart casual. which is a little bit more relaxed than looking, business professional, but you should still try to look nice. So for girls, it's usually recommended to bring a couple nice sweaters or blouses that you can wear with a nice but comfortable pair of pants. And you don't really need to bring like heels or anything, but if you have a nice flat pair of shoes or a really nice pair of boots, that is totally acceptable to wear. It's also recommended that you bring one nice outfit, just in case that your internship might need you to go to a nice event. Bring like a nice dress.
For boys, it's a pretty similar situation. You want to make sure you have a few pairs of like maybe like nice slacks or a nice looking jeans. But then if you bring sweaters that you can kind of mix in with like a nice button down shirt or something like that, you should be set for your everyday life at your internship. We would recommend bringing at least like 1 or 2 ties to wear to dress up an outfit if you do have something nicer you need to go to, but you probably don't need to bring a full suit or anything like that. There shouldn't be anything that fancy that you need to go to.
It's important during your internship to develop a strong relationship with your boss and your coworkers, because these people might be connections for after you graduate when you're looking for a job. And one of the things that might take you aback at first as an American student is that it's pretty common to be asked to go for a drink after work with your coworkers. And you should definitely accept, even if you don't feel comfortable drinking around them, just go to the pub and hang out. And that's a good way to build relationships with them.
Well, at your internship, you should try and take advantage of your boss/mentor as much as you can, because this is really the only opportunity you're going to have in an international role where you'll be able to ask people about their experiences working in London, or what it's like, how it's different from the U.S., and it'd be a really valuable thing to take abroad. So don't be shy about asking them to take a minute or go get lunch with you and talk to you about their experiences, because they'd probably be more than happy to.
Any internship in the U.S., it's really important to be polite and professional, and definitely be on time, not just your first day, but every day and for every event you show up to. You need to factor in the public transportation time, and make sure that you look ahead in case there are any delays or anything so that you aren't going to be late.
Keep in mind that London is a really diverse city, so you're going to be working with people from a lot of diverse backgrounds and different nationalities, so it's just something to keep in mind when you're starting your first day of work.
Make sure during your internship that you take advantage of any opportunity to learn something new. In my internship, my boss asked me if I wanted to spend the day doing my regular work or if I wanted to help them set up for a company event. And so I went with them, and I ended up staying all day and all night, but I got to meet a lot of new people, and it was really exciting and fun. And so I would just make sure that anytime you get an opportunity to do something a little bit different, you take advantage of it.
When you finally arrive in London and you're at the airport, remember that you have to get your bag and go through customs before you'll get through security, and the shuttle will be waiting for you outside of that area. When you're settling into your flat in London, keep in mind that you're going to be there for several months, so you do kind of want to make it feel like home. So don't be afraid to go out and get a blanket to make your bed feel a little bit more comfortable, or pick up some like super cheap towels if you go through more than one a week. Just because it won't really be a waste of money, since you will be there for like quite some time and you don't want to be uncomfortable.
And keep in mind when you're packing for London to leave a little bit of extra room in your suitcase, because you are going to buy souvenirs and maybe some extra clothes while you're there, and it is really expensive to ship things back, so just keep that in mind when you're packing your suitcase to go.
Hopefully when you're abroad, you'll take advantage of the time you're there to travel and see some other countries besides just England and London. But if you do decide to do that, I would recommend bringing a smaller backpack of some sort to carry around and put your stuff in, just so you're conveniently able to get around and travel. I would advise against bringing a duffel bag, because it's really hard to carry through the airport, especially if you're in a rush and running to make a train or something like that. So a backpack would really be the most convenient thing to have.
Before you go abroad, it's probably a good idea to make an appointment with your bank and to check and see if there are any travel credit cards that you could use, because if you have one of those, it'll make sure that you aren't getting a foreign fee transaction every time you use your card. But it is a good idea while you're over there to let your bank know where you'll be traveling and for how long. And also, whenever you take out money from your bank to get cash, to take out larger chunks at a time, because there is a fee, no matter what kind of card you have, that will happen every time you take out money. So it's better to take out more at one time and save it rather than taking out a bunch of little amounts of money every time.
One of the things to keep in mind when you're traveling to places outside of London is make sure that you tell your bank every single city that you're going to be going to, like not necessarily just the country and things like that. Be as specific as you can, just because I did have one of my cards canceled when I was abroad, and it's such a hassle because it can be hard for you to get money for the rest of the trip. But another thing to keep in mind is before you go to like another country, try and take out large amounts of cash before, just to be prepared, because in some places credit cards aren't taken, or you may have trouble finding a bank that takes your credit card, or like a sister bank, I guess, and so it's just better to be safe rather than sorry.
And while you're traveling with large amounts of cash, make sure you keep it in different places. Don't keep it all in one place, just in case something were to happen and you'd be pickpocketed and you wouldn't want to lose all your money.